one emergency.
It's going to be alright, Dad. All of this will be for our testimony on the altar of God. I'm Katia and this is my brother, Paolo. This is our family. Here are my father and my mother. And our family went through a situation that really shocked our lives. On April 18, 2024, my father called me in a panic. He called me because my mother was going through something. She was vomiting a lot of blood. So I grabbed my things and rushed to help her. When I got to my mother's house, the scene was terrible. It was really bad. My mother had vomited a lot of blood and she was lying unconscious on the floor. My mother was practically dead. There's a very strong image here. There was a puddle, a lot of blood that my mother vomited inside the car. That's when we took her to the hospital. When she arrived at the hospital, she had 3 cardiac arrests. And there she was intubated. She had to wait for a room because her case was very serious. Right, Paolo?
Exactly. At that moment, the family members were called in for the first meeting. The doctors wouldn't tell us how she was doing. And we kept asking. We were desperate, of course, she's our mother. We thought at that moment she had passed away. And they said, look, Mrs. Gilmer suffered, she lost a lot of blood, there was heavy hemorrhaging. And they said, look, we're going to try the blood transfusion again. And when she started to receive the blood, the doctors explained it to us. She started to reject the blood, even though it's the same blood type as ours. Mrs. Gilmer, she's not accepting it. So, we're going to try again, but if she has another cardiac arrest, Mrs. Gilmer will pass away. So, she only has a few hours left to live. For us, it was really out of the ordinary, because she was a totally active woman, a mother, a grandmother. Day to day, she didn't show any symptoms of being sick, so for us, it was a huge shock.
It was a mix of feelings, anxiety, worry, and desperation.
Then she was transferred to another hospital and they did all sorts of tests to find out what was causing the bleeding. They did several tests, CT scan, endoscopy. That's when they diagnosed digestive hemorrhage. Very severe, high risk. And as the days went by, they found out it was caused by a deadly bacteria. The doctors called us for a meeting and said, look, the bacteria that Mrs. Gilmer has is deadly. Very few people, it's rare for anyone to survive with this bacteria. And also, both of Mrs. Gilmer's lungs. They're totally compromised and she's also having kidney problems. She'll probably need to undergo dialysis. And there's also a problem with her liver. She has a liver lesion. So it was just me and my sister. Just receiving bad news. One after another.
Nothing but talk of death.
Exactly. So, really, in human eyes, there was no more solution for Dana Gilmer. There was no way out at all.
None of the medicines worked, not a single medicine was effective. They tried several strong antibiotics, and they would say, this is the last medicine for Mrs. Gilmer. The whole arsenal of medication. They used antibiotics, but none of them stopped either the bacteria or the pneumonia she had.
Including, in this image, here it shows that she was already 100% dependent on the machines. She couldn't breathe on her own anymore. Oxygen was zero.
On that moment, I got really revolted. I said no, because all of us, we are from the Universal Church. We are of faith.
We did everything for a purpose. We gathered and did a chain of prayer with several people, prayed at dawn, fasted. Every day, at her hospital bed, we held on to the story of Naaman, that Naaman had to dip himself 7 times to be healed of that leprosy. I opened the Bible right in front of her. On the hospital bed, she was in a coma, she couldn't see, and I opened the Bible for her and prayed at her bedside. And we kept fighting, but it was just one bad news after another. And that's when we had that meeting again. And they told us, This was the third and last meeting, and they said to us, "Look, we tried all the medicines for Donna Gilmer. We tried everything. We kept increasing the dosage up to the maximum level, but it's not working anymore. Her lungs aren't clearing up. This bacteria isn't going away." And that's when they told us. They said, "Look, you think you're helping your mother by keeping her on a medication that isn't working. But sometimes you might actually be causing harm. She's suffering." So, at that moment, we understood that the best thing to do was to turn off the machines. We understood that. And at that moment, it was me, my dad, my wife, and my sister too, of course. And the doctor gave her authorization. We went to say goodbye to our mother.
It was at that moment, while I was there with my mother, that I said, "My God, something needs to be done. It has to be something stronger." Then, if my mother were awake, if she were lucid, you know, and talking, she could have said to me, "Daughter, go to the altar for me. Do what needs to be done."
She called me and said, "Someone needs to go and sacrifice on God's altar." If she were awake, she would have even scolded us already, asking why we haven't gone to the altar yet. And we know that she's from the altar. She isn't attached to anything, to material things. And we knew that if she were awake, she would go up. And she said, "Guys, that's my mother."
It was not in the time of the campaign of Israel. It wasn't the time yet. So I said to myself, "No, I'm going to go all out on the altar."
When she said that, it was really in sync. She said, Go upstairs."
My brother, he had taken a photo of the altar. So what did we do? Here, this image here shows it. This here is the image of my mother's hand on the image of the altar. And I went up to the altar, as if it was her. And I said, "No, it's all or nothing." I said, "My God, this altar is everything my mother has. Her whole life is here. So, my God, come down into her life now."
And we said, "Lord, it's in your hands. Either you will take her now, or you will come with healing and do what needs to be done." We literally put 100% of her life on the altar. That's where it ended. Even the arguments. We surrendered everything. And after 2 days, when visiting hours came, my sister went up. Together with our friend in faith, with your friend in faith. Together with our friend in faith, with your friend in faith. But I think it's better if she tells it herself. Mrs. Gilmer, come here to tell us.
That's right. After 2 days, during the time they made the sacrifice, I woke up. When I got better, I really wanted to go home. What I wanted most in my life was to leave. I couldn't wait to go home. I'm fine, thank God. I'm healed, I'm working. I drive, I travel, I go everywhere I need to go, I go.
The news is good, right? Katya, she was up there with the doctors, and she said that good news should be given live, right at the moment. And she came to tell us what the doctors told her. Go ahead, Katya.
Yes, it's true. That the bacteria, which was invincible, a monster, a giant, was stopped.
The lung started to clear up. The liver, which had a lesion, began to heal. The kidney that was supposed to undergo dialysis didn't need it anymore. So all the news we were hearing started to turn around. So now all the news was good.
When we saw my mom awake, it was such a joy.
Almost 70 days. Hearing negative words about death, we were seeing the person right there, practically coming back to life. That's what the altar did. It brought someone who had no life back to life.
God is amazing, He is powerful. Because what God did in my life is incredible. My children did it, right? Because I was in a coma, I wouldn't have been able to speak, I wouldn't have been able to walk. But my children did for me what I would have done too if I had been able to, because I belong to the altar. I don't deny it. I am in the faith and they did it for me. They intervened and God honored it.
Looking at my mom now, Everything we went through with her was really intense. It was really intense. I see God. I see God who acted in her life.
We see life and know that the altar never fails.
We took her out of the hospital bed and now she's here in an armchair, giving testimony to God's power. It's really powerful.
I taught them the path of faith, the path of God. Because if we don't teach our children the way of God, when we need it like I did, we won't have support. First of all, it was God who saved me, but if it weren't for my children, I wouldn't be here today. We really rely on each other a lot.